wanted to talk about your relationship with money, my relationship with money as well, because it is a relationship. We are born into this world with several obligatory relationships. Even our relationship with our own family members, our parents, are more fragile. And I'm not saying they are fragile, but they're more fragile than our relationship with money. Because if you're watching this video, you have a relationship with money. I mean, I think maybe the only people who wouldn't have a relationship with money are people who live in tribal societies or have totally managed to become self-sustaining. And there are people like that. But most of us have a relationship with money basically our entire lives, whether we like that reality or not. And coming from my own perspective, I have not always liked that. In fact, I'd say that most of my life is defined by having a really contemptuous relationship with money. I've despised it. I've hated that it had to be a part of my life. I just have spent many years wishing that it didn't have to be there. Like, oh, life would be so much better if we didn't have to all like kind of slave over money or deal with money. But money is one of those things, kind of like our relationship with our parents, but it's more enduring. It will never end, pretty much until we die. Another relationship that we might have permanently is our relationship with reality itself. I like to think of having a relationship with reality. Other people might like to define that relationship as one with God. You're going to also have a permanent relationship all your life with yourself. So there are certain relationships we have that are obligatory and we're stuck with them from birth till death. Money is one of those. And I wanted to talk about labeling that and identifying it because I've gotten a lot of value out of actually defining my relationship with money as a real relationship, not just something I can push to the side and ignore, but something that that I have to frame in a way that makes me have a healthier relationship with it. So if I just kind of think of money as this nebulous blob, like a concept, it's just a concept, it's not really something I have a relationship with, then it's hard for me to get a grip on how to kind of improve or go beyond the status quo. And I don't mean earning more money, I mean just improving the quality of that relationship. So the way that I've spent pretty much all of my 20s, my teens interfacing with money is like as though it's this clingy and super annoying boyfriend that I really, really don't want to date, but for some reason I don't have the heart to break up with this boyfriend. But I'm bringing this boyfriend to parties and being like, oh man, I really don't want to bring this guy. This guy is a dude, he's a noob. I don't like him at all. He's like, he smells bad and he makes stupid jokes, but here he is. I guess we have to deal with him. I'm like trash talking this money boyfriend if I'm to create an image around it, where I'm bringing it around with me everywhere I go, like all of us do with our relationships with money. But I'm basically just treating it with zero respect. I'm treating it like crap. I'm basically treating it like, you know what? I wish you didn't exist. I wish you were not here. I wish you were not in my life, but I have to be in a relationship with you. So I'm just going to be so mean to you and so disrespectful to you because I hate you, basically, is how I'm treating it. It's a classic artistic rebellious thing. I'm basically rebelling against the concept of money. And the reason I associate this with being an artist is because, well, I am an artist. And I think there are certain tropes about artists that may or may not be true for individuals. But this one in particular is true for me, where I associate my enjoyment of life and my connectedness with people and my groundedness and my integrity to being unrelated entirely to money. So the way that I've kind of dealt with my 20s and not earning very much money because I didn't want to has been like, you know what, I'll earn the bare minimum that I need to get by. And then I'm going to spend the rest of my time and energy just really living life to the fullest, spending time with the people that I care about, doing creative projects, like making music and making videos and playing like loud rock band shows, and basically just living. So I was approaching life with the attitude of, I don't need you, money. Like, I don't need you at all. I'm going to have a great life. Even if we never have a great relationship between the two of us, I'm going to have a really awesome life. And I'm going to live a life of integrity because I've held this long, enduring assumption that for for someone to have a lot of money means a loss of integrity, means a loss of spirituality. I'm not a religious person, but I definitely have the bias, and it may or may not be true, that the more money you have, the more rooted in the material world you become, and thus the harder it is to be a virtuous spiritual person. And I've known plenty of virtuous spiritual people who have a lot of money. I know that it's not true, but it's a really entrenched perception about money and about reality that I've held for many years that I'm trying to confront. So I've been going through a little bit of an introspective process where I'm thinking about what my relationship with money is and what I would like it to be. Because if this is a mandatory relationship in my life and I have no option but to either basically accept it or reject it but still have it in my life anyway, then it makes sense to at least accept it, at least try to at least have some basic respect for money. Because if I have it in my life no matter what, I'm hurting myself by rejecting it, by hating it, by throwing my contempt at it. And I'm not doing anyone any good. So I've been kind of just working on how could I reframe this relationship, because it's all in my mind. This is all just a fiction. The way that I relate to money, the opinions that I hold about it, the sense of integrity that I think is associated with not having it, all of that is in my mind. It's all just fiction. And as such, I can rewrite it if I want. I don't have to exist with money as this really annoying sidekick boyfriend that I can't get out of my life. I could relate to it as some, like a relationship is like, you know what? You're here and you do important things. I mean, you allow me to put food on my plate and have a roof over my head and do things that are meaningful in life. So just because, for some people have a relationship with you where they're driven to excess and they go, in a really selfish direction, but that's not like a rule. That doesn't have to be our relationship. You don't have to make me worse. In fact, I think you could make me better. I want to have just like kind of a congenial, respectful relationship with money. And I'm working on that. It's definitely an ongoing work in progress. Again, I don't have aspirations of like great wealth. I think if I'm to talk about aspirations and ambitions, they have more to do with impact, much more to do with impact than wealth. I'm much less interested in the things of the material world. I'm not really big into like a heavy duty consumer mindset. I'm much more I like to hold a creative, like a creation mindset as opposed to a consumer mindset. I'm not perfect and I never will be, but I think about that a lot. So I guess I've been just exploring this idea because when I think about my ability to contribute in this world, to have an impact in whatever small way that I'm able, that's something that really fires me up. And it's something that having money would support. So having money to pay the bills and not being in debt is pretty important if I want to have an impact. I mean, what kind of impact am I supposed to have if I don't have very much money? I'll have a small impact at best, because I'll have to be diverting a lot of my energy and resources to obtaining money. The less I have to think about it or worry about it, and if I'm rejecting it, then I'm thinking about it a lot. If I accepted it, it's like I'm removing a massive mental burden out of my life. So the more that I improve my relationship with money, I see the more I'm able to improve my ability to have impact in this world. The more time and energy I'll have to devote towards things that really, really matter. Things that are not just about me. So another thing about being in this like artistic mode of money doesn't matter is that actually it can be a really selfish mode, because if you're in this state of always worrying about making ends meet and having to hustle, then and I've been there a lot, then what ends up happening is like you're totally turned in on yourself. You can't really focus on it's very difficult in that state of like worry and anxiety about money. Where am I going to get the next paycheck and things like that? It's very difficult to think about generosity and helping other people. And of course there are exceptions. So I can think of, so my grandparents grew up poor, but ended up like my grandpa started a business and they ended up becoming quite wealthy, from a perspective, like, not like rolling in the dough or anything, but what they have always been our generous people. And so there's a lot of people who come from limited means who are extremely generous. And my grandparents are among those people. However, that has not been true for me. So my experience of having limited money has been like an intense self-absorption because I'm not able to be at ease, I suppose, enough ease that I feel like I have something on my plate that I can share with other people. It's kind of like I feel like I need to fill my own belly before I help fill other people's bellies. So whether or not, if that's a right perspective or not, that's been my history. So improving my relationship with money. And the reason that I wanted to bring this up with you is because I wanted you to think about, what is your relationship with money? I think it's a really interesting question to ask. If it were a person, how would you be treating that person? It's because, like I said, it's a relationship that all of us have no matter what, from the time we're old enough to start earning our own money, and even younger. I mean, we develop a relationship with money when we're kids too. We kind of inherit our parents' relationship with money, right? And then we start to integrate theirs into our own as we become adults. But how would you define it? How would you, what kind of partner or husband or wife would this relationship with money be to you? And how does that relationship impact your life? Is it making your life better, or is it making it worse? And how could you redefine your relationship? And how could you have a healthier relationship with this thing that is, whether we like it or not, a part of all of our lives? I don't have an answer, but I have lots of questions, as always. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll catch you later.